punk.
What was your nickname in high school?
The Dominator. The
Reid?
Crusher. The Lady Killer.
The Reid?
Mr. Popular.
The
It goes on
Stampede?
and on. The Stampede. No, I didn't go by Stampede. I went by Weed
Weed?
and Retardia.
Weed is...
All right, I'm not loud enough. That's better. I think that's better.
It sounds good.
You sound good.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
Get it on. Ah, yeah. Say, Jerome.
Well, Reid Davis.
Welcome to Sounds Opinionated.
Thank you. And thank
It's
you.
a show. It's a
for being
podcast I created for you.
You did it for me?
For the platform for you to shine, to really shine with
Wow.
your
It's a special.
your humor and your musical
Oh man.
prowess.
Be careful. Yeah, prowess is all right. I was worried
You
you were
wanna
going to
go
say
with
something
prowess?
else. Yeah. So you know what, Reid?
What?
You're a punk.
You're a punk.
Because tonight
Did you know that
we're going to talk about what you're good at.
there is
you punk.
there is a proto punk band called the Punks? Never heard of them, but they have the best band name
The punks.
for a punk band ever. The Punks.
You know what, Reid? I was asked this once before in a real situation, and I can't believe I had an answer for it.
Real situation.
In a real
This is
situation.
a real story then.
Someone said, if you were going to be a WWE wrestler, back when they were WWE, if you're going to be a WWE tag team, what would your theme be? And I immediately said, the Young Punks.
The young. That's a good. Hey, I like it.
And we would wear
Remember the
ripped
young
up
ones?
jeans and,
yeah.
and white
Yeah.
t-shirts and
Well,
and
so
have-
would you be a? So there was two. There was more than one, but there was generally two looks you could have if you were a punk in the '70s. You could be the Ramones punk.
Yep.
The leather jacket, ripped up jeans,
and a t-shirt. Yeah.
and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Or you could go with the English aesthetic, which was the safety pins and the ripped up shirts and the spiked hair and the makeup.
More of a
The zippered jeans.
yeah,
and
more of what are those? The tank top tees. Than
the wife beaters.
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to. There's another term for those, but that's fine.
So I think you could put yourself into two groups. Are you that kind of punk, or are you a Ramones punk?
I was definitely a Ramones punk. I was not.
So I was more of the Sex Pistols punk.
Oh, really?
I really thought that look was cooler.
Yeah, I didn't have the.
Because we already had the Ramones. I mean, that wasn't a unique look, a leather jacket and ripped jeans.
So all right. So I'll say this.
But they didn't care.
So we're going to talk a lot about punk rock tonight, and I do love some punk rock.
Of course you do.
I fell into this a little bit backwards. So I got into punk early. I loved punk rock music when I was in like junior high. But
Junior high. Can we close that door so the infernal bird doesn't chirp anymore?
you don't want to talk about punk rock music with a bird?
There's no life in birds and chirping. I mean, God. the
Look,
worst.
Reid, you got me
That's
in this
way
wonderful studio here. You built it out.
No birds in the studio.
No bird studio.
All right, sorry to interrupt because I do that. But what were you saying?
So I was going to say,
You fell into it backwards.
I fell into it backwards.
Right.
I was into sports, and my father.
You were a jock.
And so I would go to practice, and I didn't like going to practice in my gear. And I went to a private school, and so I had to wear a uniform. I didn't like no one showing up in their uniform. So my dad had an old pair of combat boots that he would, and I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna wear these combat boots and a jacket and walk into swim practice and get my gear on. And
Hold on. Private school swim practice.
So the practice was at night.
You were aching to be a punk rocker.
I guess so.
So I mean, your whole life was just mapped out already.
So I start showing up, and all these some of the older kids on the team were like, "Hey, there's a Misfits concert's coming up. You want to go? You want you go with me?"
Misfits
I'm like,
concert. In
like,
what year?
never.
88, 7.
No, yeah, I think it was because I was I graduated '89, so I was probably it might have been '86.
Wow.
So 86, 87. But it was like it was the same thing. Like Minor Threat, Government Mule. All these bands were coming in like, hey, we're gonna see this, we're gonna go. And I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't have any idea about these bands.
Right.
Yet, and some of these might qualify more as hardcore than punk. And I've had a hard time with this too. But tonight, this is something that I want to talk to what your knowledge base is, Reid, and that's fast, loud punk rock music. So
it's a great topic. It's a great genre, and I hate you saying that word because I sound kind of like a weirdo when I say it.
Genre.
Genre. It sounds like I'm trying to be.
You might be a doctor when you say that.
When I say genre, I raise my pinky when I drink my Pabst Blue Ribbon. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking El Chavo.
And there's
and it's a cider.
Habanero in there.
Yeah, it's mango and habanero hard cider.
Ugh. Is it good?
It is. It's got a spice and a kick to it. It's not what I normally drink, but it's here.
Who made it?
Blake's. Blake's makes it, and it's from their backyard. Or there it says from our backyard. I guess I'm part of Blake's. I'm in our backyard. So let's drink it up. Here's to you, man. Here's to you.
Cheers.
And punk rock
cheers.
music.
Let's drink together.
For the kids.
That's not the way to drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Spicy.
You don't sip it like that. It's terrible. So let's just real quick take a break, and I can check the recording.
First break.
And we're back, Jerome.
We are back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Kata. So here he goes, Reid. I want to talk to you, and I really wanted to pick this topic because I'm
so glad you did.
It was something that I think that you know a lot about. And when I really first started thinking about this podcast and educating my kids on different music, I knew what kind of music you were into, and I was like, we overlap in this category. I think a good bit. And
I think
we know what we're talking about. But I think that you're going to bring something different than I would bring. And I wanted to see how you would introduce some music like this to my kids.
So in the 24 hours I had to think about this.
I gave you a lot of time.
And I was up the whole time. I didn't sleep last night.
Good.
I didn't work today. All I did was think about this. Because I wanted to get it right for you and the kids.
And the kids.
Sounds opinionated. Whether I like it or not, it's for the kids.
Yeah.
Because when I die in, I don't know, 5-10 years, they're going to still have, I think, podcasts. And they're going to go and they're going to say, I just want to hear Dad.
I'm going to be dancing at your funeral.
I want to hear
listening
Dad.
to this podcast right after.
I want to hear Dad again. I want to hear what he's got to say.
I'm sorry, Addie. You're going to have to listen to me on well.
He lives on in the podcast.
You do.
Thank God he created it with Jerome.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying right now. All those guys in India that are listening to us are like, I don't want to do an accent. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Reid. So tell me.
So when you brought this up, I was like instantly in my head. It was like a bombshell. Okay. Because it's near and dear to my heart, as it is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking I could go one of two ways. Because you said it was for your kids, to educate your kids. My kids know about
punk rock music.
Punk rock,
yeah,
a little bit. They know that I like it.
Okay.
I don't force it on them because you shouldn't really do that. You shouldn't really do that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should stop doing that to my kids.
Force is not the right word.
Yeah.
Expose is the right word.
Yes. You should. I don't want you to expose this to my kids, Reid. I think that sounds wrong.
That's a bad word.
Yeah. So let's go another way. Introduce. Maybe you could introduce this to my kids.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could go one of two ways. I could go. There's two phases. There's actually 4 phases of punk rock to me. I'm not going to go on and on. Trust me. There's the sort of the proto-punk era.
Where do you think that proto-punk era is? Give me a band that started it.
The Sonics.
Yeah.
I might actually play them for you tonight. I'm on the fence about it. The Stooges.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Pop.
Yep.
And then I could go on and on. Motor City 5, New York Dolls.
New York Dolls. I was going to play that too.
Richard Held and the Voidoids. The Dead Boys. Oh, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
Just these early. You could even say Velvet Underground, even though they weren't considered punk.
Yeah.
They were very.
People put them in that bucket.
A David Bowie I throw in there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I will be playing some David Bowie tonight.
Interesting.
But anyway, there's the proto-punk phase. There's the height of the punk era, which was 77 to about 80. And then there's hardcore.
If you put that 77 to 80, do you put that in America or do you put that
both?
in
England, and the United States.
Because you're talking the Clash and you're talking the Sex Pistols there,
and the Ramones, and you don't need more. So then there's the hardcore era, which was I'd say 80 to like 84 or 5, and then it's the post-punk era, which started grunge and. It didn't start, but it helped.
It helped, yeah.
All that stuff.
It played into it.
Modern rock, is.
I see. It really doesn't matter. Like if you like this music, great. You don't have to put a label on it. I hate the fact that we have labels on it, but in order to communicate with someone else and let them know, hey, I like this kind of music. This is what it is. So, hardcore music. Would you consider the Cult hardcore?
No.
See, would you consider the cult punk?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. So, but someone's like, I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It's going to be about punk music. They're like, what about the cult? I'm like, that's not. I don't think so. I don't think so.
So that's what that. It was brilliant that you brought this up because.
Oh, thank you.
First of all, we haven't really delved into. I don't know about you, but genres or music that is really near and dear to you.
Read.
So I mean, I could go on about the cult.
But like I say Valentine's Day, and you play Punk Rock Girl. Like you are a punk.
Well,
you throwing punk into everything.
So,
it was
right,
even
and
the country.
True. That is true. Just
but
like you
still,
throw cake in everything. That's fine.
Well,
that's okay. That's your. Is cake punk?
It's.
I would say cake. No, I would say cake is punk. Partial punk.
I would go little like post punk.
But
alternative.
But right. But they have that edge.
Sure.
For me, I don't know how to approach this because I can go on and on about one thing or another. But let me just start this. So when I was a 12-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid in Northern Virginia, I grew up with my parents' classic rock and easy, soft rock and what was played on the radio. And all of a sudden, I just remember hearing certain, mostly from my older friends. I was like 13 or 14 actually.
Yep.
But all these bands started to pop up. And when I say 13 or 14, that was 1984 and 85. And I was not there at the height of the punk era, and I wasn't even there at the height. I wasn't aware at the height of the hardcore era. And but I was at the tail end of it. And so I heard it when I was young enough to really say, "Oh my God, this is way different than what they were playing on the radio." And I instantly gravitated toward it. And what I remember first when I was listening to the first, I didn't know about the Sex Pistols. I didn't know about the Ramones really.
Yep.
But I knew about bands like Black Flag, the Dead Kennedys, Bad Brains, Minor Threat, especially because they were all local. Well, some of them were local to DC. And I remember people would tell me, my older friends who were going to actual Bad Brains and Minor Threat shows, because I never went to any because I was 13, 14, but I had friends that were like 16, 17. They were cool. They could drive downtown and go see Bad Brains. I was like, these bands are awesome. And I remember that was my first real branching away from my parents' music.
Yeah.
And in a way that was pretty different from what they were used to.
Absolutely.
I remember I bought a Meatmen album. I don't know if you know the Meatmen, but they're pretty crass and really vulgar but hilarious and have some great hooks and great songs.
Yeah.
I remember I bought one of their albums and I brought it home, and my dad, this is a crazy story. He called the police because of the lyrics were on the back of the album, and my dad, God bless him, there was profanity galore on the back of this album.
Oh man!
And this was before the explicit lyrics thing that was happening.
He was trying to call you in, huh?
So they confiscated it. My sister, my crazy sister, God bless her, went out the next day and bought the same album.
Bought the same
just
album,
hit it,
and then
it
bought
was
a Cake
great.
album.
No, because Cake was they were like
they weren't there
teenagers.
yet. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's great.
So that was my first exposure with those bands, and I
loved.
Buy
an album or you buy a tape?
Albums.
Really?
This was LP, baby.
Yeah.
And they did cassettes later.
Soon
after.
You had cassettes when you were in.
But I didn't
grade.
have a car. I didn't have a cassette player. I had a record player. So anyway, they sold vinyl then still.
Yeah.
And I just remember really loving all those bands.
So Reid, I know that they had cassettes at that time because you and I are within 4 or 5 months of each other.
They had cassettes.
So similar.
I had cassettes, I think, of those bands, but I think I had cassettes later.
I have a slightly different story because I was although so my parents were also not into oddly enough not into punk rock music when I was growing up. So, but they took me to my parents took me to a party out at Lake Anna. They had
Lake Anna.
It was beautiful.
Where'd you go? Oh, Vienna. You lived
grew up in Vienna.
Right.
So not far from here.
Mean streets of Vienna.
The mean streets of Vienna. So sure enough, my parents take me to this. My dad had a business partner, a buddy that had a house in Lake Anna. And so we went down there and with a bunch of other people. So there was a huge party there. A lot of people were staying the night, but we were going there and back. So, and I don't, it's my dad's business partner. So there's no one that's really my age there, no one I really liked. And so sure enough, I'm scoping through this guy's place, and I've got my Walkman with me, and I see
Walkman. That's awesome.
and I see a Clash album.
Nice. A cassette?
Yep, the cassette. And I'm like, I got to do something.
Which
here.
album was it?
It's dude, I can't remember the name of it.
Was
right
it
now.
the first one?
No,
the good one, the punk rock one,
not
or
London
the
Calling. It's
Yeah,
not
good,
London
'cause
Calling.
That's overrated. In my
No,
opinion.
it is not. That London
It's
Calling is a
overrated.
phenomenal album, but it is.
It's good.
It's
but do you,
so
Do you
good.
think it's punk rock though?
Yes, I do think it's. Well, I mean, it's a little bit of everything on there, but there's definitely some songs on there that are punk rock. But this one was "Should I Stay or Should I Go?"
Oh yeah, that's combat rock.
Combat rock, yeah.
Yeah.
So combat rock. I mean, I'm like, boom, stole that cassette. Definitely took it.
That
I'm gonna
has
admit
like
it.
6 solid hits on.
Oh, I think it was more than that. I couldn't put it down. I listened to it the whole time.
I
and
can
I'm
imagine.
like, this party's over.
So
I'm
taking
this home.
It was
Can't let it go.
revolutionary for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So just listened to it nonstop and
Awesome.
couldn't give it up. Didn't know if I'd ever see it
I
again,
love
so I
that
held
album.
on to it. Yeah,
Combat
so
rock.
it was great. But I mean, the Clash really got into it, and then started listening to other things after that. And then, surely enough, started getting into some more hardcore type music.
So that was probably, how old were you when you got your?
I'm telling you, I was
Clash?
probably 7th grade, so
So you were
13, 14.
83, 4.
Yeah, that sounds right. 13. Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense because
Yeah.
that's when the Clash was on the radio. But
Were-
the combat rock was.
Was
That's
it?
when they really made it big.
I mean, I don't remember hearing combat rock on the radio or the Clash
No.
on the radio. I guess "Should I Stay or Should I Go" was definitely
and
starting to be on the radio.
also Rock the Casbah, and there was the other one.
Yeah.
They have some great albums, but
Oh,
I
The
have
Clash,
I have a
phenomenal.
love-hate relationship. You can never say you hate the Clash, but
Does your
loved.
Does your sister like the Clash?
I'm gonna,
Call
I'm
it. Call it.
Call on the hotline.
It's not Cake. It's
The
the
sister
Clash. Another
hotline.
C band.
So that was your first exposure. That's cool.
Yeah. And then so in later in high school moved quickly to hardcore
Yeah.
music.
And
Which-
what were your bands of choice from that era? So I'm thinking that was your early high school years.
Yes, early high school years, and I had a good friend of mine that loved, and I don't know how, I think he turned all of Paul VI High School into TSOL fans. So this guy Pat Redden, I don't know how he found
TSOL.
out, but TSOL, everyone had TSOL albums,
That's funny.
and I went, and so they showed up at the 9:30 Club.
They're like, there's kind of an obscure band from L.A.
Dude.
But I guess they had a hit or two, right?
Well, not
What
that
was-
anyone know, not that anyone would know. TSOL, True Sounds of Liberty.
So the Meat Men have a song called TSOL or Sissies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
I don't know.
So anyway, so they
funny.
so
That's so funny.
definitely went to see TSOL at the 9:30 Club.
Oh wow, good.
And because I was probably a sophomore or junior at the time, we went to saw the show. If there's something that had gone wrong and they said, the lead singer can't sing, yeah, I'm stepping in. I know everything.
You were
I'm
the
ready to
Henry
go.
Rollins of
I'm ready to
TSOL.
go. Yeah.
You jumped on stage like
So-
Black Flag.
At the end of the show, I
funny.
don't know what. I don't remember getting down there. I don't remember, telling my parents I
So
was
you
going to
knew
be
all
out
the
this
songs.
late.
You were going to jump up on stage.
I was, we
Your life could have
slam
been so
danced the
different.
entire thing,
Oh,
and then
tell me that's not the funnest time you've
it's the
ever had
best.
at a show.
It's it got even better because after that, my buddy's like, "Hey, come with me." He gets his, he has his leather jacket on, and he's just lurks back, goes backstage, and so we
Nice.
go backstage, and no one's stopping us. I'm 135 pounds, like no one, like I don't look like a man, and I'm clearly just a kid, and I'm like, yeah. I couldn't have had my Letterman's jacket on, but I mean, it was I felt like that was that much of a
Right,
noob.
right.
So, but sure enough,
I
go back
tell
there
you.
and met the band, and was like, yeah,
That's
this
cool.
is the best.
Were they nice to you?
Yeah, they were super nice.
Nice.
Yeah, they're great.
So you're a TSOL insider, shall we say?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
I got to get on NoFX backstage and on the tour bus.
That
That was cool.
somewhat impressed.
I mean,
oddly
It
impressed.
was
by that. On the tour
underwhelming.
bus.
Let's just say that they're not the.
No cheese tray? What happened?
Oh, there was a cheese tray. There was a cheese tray. I remember that, but I remember.
cheese tray?
I remember El Jefe comes in with. They have this huge spread at the Nations. Remember Nations?
Oh, I do remember Nations.
So-
this is in your. So you're.
It's where Nats Park is now.
I know exactly where it is. I
It
went
was a
to
nice
show there.
place.
Yeah.
And anyway, so we're backstage in their dressing room, and El Jefe comes in, and there's this huge spread, and he comes in with some woman that looks like he got her straight off the street. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a big bag of Wendy's, and he sits down, and he just chows on like 3 cheeseburgers,
Yeah.
and he's slamming beer and alcohol. And then they all come in like 5 minutes before the show, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?" And then they just roll out.
That was
onto the
before
stage.
the show.
Yeah, it was before the show.
Oh my god! I thought it was after.
No, it was before the show, and then they go out and they're just.
They tear it up.
I
huh?
tell you, they're the best at stage manner. So, all right, back to your original question.
All right.
We could do a million shows on this, just like we could do a million shows on country, and we could do a million chicks that rock show.
Yep.
We could do, but anyway, this is the start. And so for me, if I was going to expose any kid who, I could go one of 2 ways. I could go what was popular and what people think about when they think about punk now and
Yep.
what they play, or I could go proto-punk and where punk came from, and that's where I'm going.
All right.
That's where I'm leaning.
Lead the way.
So this is my progression.
you got to name the bands because I.
Classic rock. No, this is my
All right.
musical progression.
Okay.
Classic rock with my parents, then hardcore, because that's when I first kind of became musically cognizant of punk and
I love
whatever.
it.
And then I said, oh, okay, I like Bad Brains and Minor Threat. Where did this all come from? It came from punk.
Yep.
Clash, Sex Pistols, Ramones.
So you went backwards after
Then
that
I went
and looked
back.
into it. Yeah.
Then I went back and I got into them. And I said, oh, this is great. And then I went back further. And then I got to the Stooges and Motor City 5 and New York Dolls and Richard Hell and the Dead Boys and on and on and on. And the Sonics and this great band called the Sonics, and they were from 1965.
Really?
And it all came proto-punk originated from basically the anti-establishment nature of the 60s,
Yeah.
flower power and psychedelia and drugs and all that stuff, and rebelling against the Vietnam War, and all that kind of sprouted out of that. But it didn't go in that sort of hippie sort of way. It went in the other way. So the garage bands and the hippie, like the hippies and psychedelia, they all had their day, and they were in the spotlight. Like Janis Joplin and all those guys.
Yep.
And the Beatles, and they were all love and love your neighbor, and everybody's great. But there was also this little tiny sect that was also saying no, like the Animals and the Kinks. And those
hard,
bands,
yeah.
they were a little harder,
Distorted
they
guitar.
weren't trying to overly produce and perfect a production of the song and have it perfectly in studio and all that. It was about emotion.
Electric.
It was about a feeling, and it was about an ethos that was like anti everything. And a lot of it, was taken to extremes. But the garage bands and the Stooges, especially.
The Stooges were definitely listed as one of the first punk bands.
They embodied almost everything for punks and what became the punk ethos and the whole genre.
Sure.
For crying out loud. I mean, it was Iggy Pop never owned a shirt in his life, and he's sitting there, he's going crazy, and he's involving the crowd, and it's every song is maximum 3 minutes, and it's energy, and it's played terribly, and it's terribly recorded. I mean, all these early proto-punk bands, they didn't record.
They didn't know how to play
really
an instrument.
Well,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter because it was just raw music.
So that's why that's why I kind of look at. Well, I want you to play your stuff, but I definitely
I know.
have
we're
a difference
solid
between
20 minutes in right now.
Well, I definitely have a difference between the Clash and the Sex Pistols, which are, I feel like they were two vastly different bands.
Yes.
Where I don't, people say the Sex Pistols probably didn't even know how to play the instruments; they just went out there and
no, well, they actually, I mean, the I think they did.
I'm sure they, of course they did. Of course they did, because it's not.
I mean, Sid Vicious couldn't play worth a damn,
Whatever,
but
it
he was only there
didn't
for
matter.
looks.
Yeah, well, Anyway, but the Clash, on the other hand, I mean, they put real music out there, and like some of the stuff I wouldn't consider punk. It's great.
The Clash is probably the most sophisticated musically of any of those bands.
It might be.
I mean, they got into ska and reggae, and they did all these weird things.
It's funny you say. I was going to say
the Clash. The Clash is really good. I mean, I
let's get into it though. Let's hear some music. I want to hear what you want to play. Let's take a breather and then come back with some jams.
Let's take a breather. Who's this break brought to you by? CBGB's.
Yeah, oh,
it's
that's
coming
a
back. They're starting a new club, and this is it's all grassroots.
Virtual CBGB's. I love it.
There are no rules, Jerome. Are there rules?
Let me tell you about some rules, Reid.
We don't like rules, and there are no rules, and
there are two rules.
There are two rules.
Right? Two rules. One, there are no rules. And two, rule number one always applies.
So in the break, people in the when the commercials were rolling, Jerome and I had an intellectual conversation.
It was very intellectual, very
hard.
What
are
the
heart. Rules when you pick punk songs for a punk podcast? And we got bogged down, and we were talking about
management.
And
management came in.
Management came in and said, "Shut up."
Yeah.
And play what you want to play.
Play some jams.
You can kick out the jams. All right, so who's going first? Since I got three, you got two?
I got two. You go first.
You told me you limited me to three.
I did
because you're in charge of this whole shindig.
I'm a very important person. I have many
you're kind of the
books.
executive. I'm more of the grunt.
You're the guy that gets the stuff done.
I'm punk. You're
I'm a little
classic
bit
rock.
Classic rock. A little bit hardcore. We're like the Osmonds of podcasting, Reid. I really do believe that, and I think that unfortunately,
the Osmonds.
I think unfortunately, you're Linda Ronstadt. No. Who the Osmonds? Donnie Marie. I think you're Marie. I think you're a little country.
I'm Marie?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the talent. You're the
Whatever.
good looks.
Okay. Well,
I'm trying to make it seem better because I want to be the guy.
You can be the guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm a little bit. You're clearly the rock and roll.
I don't even know what I'm doing. All right.
I gotta say that with the 45 minutes we took to set up today and get this thing started, that's what I really thought that you shined. You really you muscled through it and you got it done.
What are you talking about?
What?
I don't have my eyeballs on, and my coworkers will know what I'm talking about. I don't have my eyeballs on. You sound like an old man. Where are my glasses? I can't see anything.
Let's play some punk rock music.
Let's play some punk rock for the kids. They'll like it.
Do you like American music? Do you like all kinds of music? Would you consider the Violent Femmes punk?
No.
All right.
I
think they're on the fence,
I'm
man.
glad you agree.
I don't agree.
I'm glad you agree with me.
I think
I'm glad you think I'm right.
Alternative, post-rock, post-punk alternative.
Okay, so this band, I will say, there is proto to proto punk as there is. 1965, they were cranking out this garage rock, and I'm telling you, it's raw. It's great. And I actually discovered them late in my development of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I said, God, these guys are great. And I don't know how I heard of them, but they're the Sonics, and they still actually play. I think I don't know. I don't really know much about them, to be honest, because I never really had put in the time to figure it out.
Just enjoy it.
But just enjoy it. And
ladies and gentlemen,
I need a longer cord.
Sounds Opinionated. Welcome to the punk rock version of Sounds Opinionated. And our first song for the night that Reid Davis is going to put together.
This is terrible.
Drum roll, please.
Terrible podcasting. This is a song from, I think, 1965 by the Sonics, and it's called Strychnine. And I mean, Strychnine. Okay.
Hit it, baby.
Hit it.
But once you've tried it,
man.
First time listening to it, long time fan of it already.
That's
already.
Nice. They are they're from Washington State.
Do you know
five white guys and just
tell me that
crushed it.
Tell me that didn't remind you of Louie though.
They covered Louie.
Well,
and by the way,
yeah, that might be the only riffs they know. That's pretty good. I mean, it is definitely. It's like you can hear.
Yeah, right. You
can hear it.
It's an attitude.
Yeah.
It's the way you recorded. It's very simple. It's rock and roll, straight up. There's no.
Straight up. Now tell me. I mean, I do really like it. I think it's great.
They have a bunch of good songs. I mean, I remember hearing them for the first time. I said, "How have I not heard about these guys?"
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you might be thinking right now, Jerome. And our thousands of listeners out there.
The thousands upon thousands.
It could be millions.
Anyway, so when you know what I like about it?
What do you like about
loud rock and roll?
Yeah, it's raucous.
Just going. Yeah, just going.
It's angry. They're talking about taking drugs. Straight up.
Straight on.
I mean, it is a great Ramones song. Now I want to sniff some glue. I mean, I'm not going to advocate anybody sniffing glue or taking strychnine, for crying out loud.
Well, that's
but
good.
It's just
it's a good rock and roll song.
Some
so
folks
like
water, some folks like wine. I like the taste of strychnine. Straight
strychnine.
Up.
It's really good. It's really good. It's that loud. You need it to be loud. You need to be powerful.
It came from garage rock. Garage rock. I mean, that's what you can categorize Iggy Pop and the Stooges and the Sonics.
It's electric, reverb.
It's just right. It's really distorted. A lot of fuzz.
Yeah.
And the guitars. It's great.
I love it.
That's where punk came from.
Let's jam out another one. I want to move it along. Let's keep it moving tonight.
Text my work phone.
All right, let's do it. But give me a pause so I can find a song.
Yeah.
Pause it.
Ow! That wasn't Chuck Berry. That was me. And we're back, Jerome.
Of course we are, Reid. Because we came here to play some jams.
I had to go inside.
Some punk rock. You punk?
You punk.
You're just a punk. So, Reid.
Are you a punk?
I'm going to punk it out. I'm gonna punk this up right now.
You're gonna punk it.
I got to do the Clash because that's where I started, and that's where if I'm introducing this to my boys.
Don't try to be somebody else.
This is what I do.
Be who you are.
This is what I do. There's so many punk songs, but I'm like, you're gonna play. I want to hear loud driving guitar.
Yes.
I want it to be fast paced. I want to be in your face. I want to rock out. I'm gonna play a little Clash. Safe European Home.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
The Johnny on the corner was a very sympathetic.
There you go.
Hold on. What album was this released on? I'm not trying to quiz you because
no, I can tell you that it looked like it has red, yellow, and blue.
It must have been. It must not have been on any of their early LPs or whatever, because it wasn't on London Calling. It wasn't on The Clash. It wasn't
not on Combat Rock.
Yeah, it wasn't on Sandinista. I don't know where it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, it is.
That song is killer.
I'll tell you what it's on. It's on The Story of the Clash. So
yeah.
if like the,
yeah.
So that was.
Have you seen that documentary? It's great.
So I haven't seen the documentary, but I own the. There was a double set album. I mean, I owned a lot of different Clash albums, CDs.
You're
CDs
Clash,
at the time. I
loved them.
Is
what you are.
I love the Clash.
Man,
so
that song rocks.
Yeah.
You know what?
You know what? They switched it up in a little reggae beat.
I know. That's
too.
why I like the Clash, because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of their first album because it's the most straightforward punk album.
Yeah, that's very punk.
And then London Calling, everybody loves that, and Combat. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they're not great. And
Okay.
my nephew, Timothy, he's great. He says that album changed his life.
There you go.
Know, and he's
London Calling.
London Calling.
There's so many good tracks. On London
Every
Calling.
song is good on that album.
There's a lot of things that you wouldn't consider punk, but I mean, it's definitely a punk.
It's not.
band.
It's right. Because here's what I think punk is. It's not only it's not the look.
No.
It's not necessarily the guitars and the short songs and everything that's formulaic. It can't be formulaic. It has to sing about. For me, it has to sing about an issue, real problems. Like that's why I think the old school country appeals to me.
Yeah,
because they sing about real problems. It's not love and all that.
You're a lyric
junk.
guy. You're down in the lyrics.
Well, no, I'm not a lyric guy. I'm a music guy.
Yeah.
But when you start singing about like domestic violence and trash in your neighborhood not getting picked up, and you sing about disillusionment with the government and the police and whatever else and war, I think that's what people should be singing about, not freaking love and relationships. I mean, who cares? I don't care about that stuff. I mean, not saying I don't care about it, but it doesn't pull. Like, I think I'm more political than I am. I don't want to hear a love song. I want to hear people singing about real issues. And that's why I like punk music, because it sings about real stuff that's going on in people's lives.
Eating cyanide, taste of cyanide is a real life. I mean,
Strychnine.
Strychnine. That's what it was.
Cyanide. I don't take
totally
cyanide.
different.
Strychnine
totally different.
is way worse.
So, but it is just, I just like the energy of it. Like,
yeah, it's all, dude,
so
the Clash are amazing. They're just amazing.
That has to be, like I love getting pumped up, getting like, that's an exercise song right there.
Oh yeah.
You're
not only that,
going for a run after that?
I could never get tired of listening to old, just any punk rock song. I mean, nowadays it's sort of like, see, for me, modern punk is sort of like modern country. It's all. I don't know.
I love getting loud, Reed, and this stuff just gets loud. This is the hardest thing for you to do.
Are you loud?
Because
people call in. Is Jerome loud enough?
You love saying, "Oh, here's a Reed and Jerome talking," but no, the song's coming on. I gotta turn it up. And you cannot not turn up.
I know. People,
punk
if
rock
you're in your
song.
car, turn it up.
Don't turn it up.
Right,
you know what? You can do what you want. So I'm gonna say this, Reed.
You're gonna turn
We're
this
putting the
up.
volume out where you want it.
Yep.
You guys, you're in control of this volume
train.
Because
I can't get it right. I am
right.
not an engineer. That's for darn sure.
For the kids.
I know.
No burping. You've been good.
Although I accidentally left. Apparently, Little Fridge. You'll know who I'm talking to.
Little Fridge.
She said, I left some burps in that I thought I had taken out of one of the podcasts. And he's like, "Oh, I thought I took them out."
If you thought Reed was taking out all the burps, you're wrong. You can go back for those Easter eggs on all of our old shows. Find the burps. You count the number of burps. You call in.
You can win a free T-shirt.
You win a free. Oh, I had a T-shirt for you. I was supposed to bring over tonight too. So
was it a snowboarding in Virginia?
No, it's not. Don't you already have one of those?
I have like 2 of them.
You son of a gun.
You gave them to me. I wear
so
them all the time.
but on my
I sleep in them.
I want to let you know that we're going through a little bit of a thing. Under the covers. We're not under the Clash.
This is too obscure.
All right. So I'll just let you know this. In this time that we're living in, where you and I are 10 feet apart, my wife is going through everything I own and trying to get rid of it. So I had a couple old T-shirts, Georgetown T-shirts that
what? No.
Larges that I'm not gonna. I don't
Sid,
wear them.
You have enough space. Just make a nook.
Thank you, Reed.
Where the old podcasting.
I wish my wife would listen to this podcast. I mean, I'm putting hours into this. She loves the Clash. You would think this would be perfect for
Sid,
her.
I'm
All right.
begging you. Let your man retain his stuff.
Let's get back to punk rock
All
because
right.
we're not solving that problem tonight.
We are not solving that problem tonight. And
Tell me where are you going next, Reid?
where am I going next? You can't have. I told you I'm going proto punk. You can't have early punk and what influenced without
knowing
Iggy
where it
Pop
went.
and the Stooges. And I'm telling you, people, there's
Oh,
not
yeah,
enough
they're so
time.
good.
There's not enough time in the day or time in the week or time in the year to describe this band. If you don't know this band, listen to them, research them, read about them.
We're talking the Stooges.
We're talking about Iggy Pop and the Stooges.
Yeah.
I could.
If you're looking for them on your sound of choice, though, it is just the Stooges. It's not Iggy
You're
Pop.
right. Right.
Iggy Pop is the guy behind him, and he went on to do great stuff too. But
You talk about
Stooges.
embodiment of a lot of things, and I can just go on and on. But
I gotta say the names that came out of these punk rock bands, like Iggy Pop, I love.
the Stooges.
Sex Pistols had Johnny Rotten.
Right.
The
Sid
Clash
Vicious.
had and Sid Vicious. So the
Joe
Clash
Strummer.
had Joe Strummer.
Right.
Buster Poindexter with the
Richard
New
Hell.
York Dolls.
Richard Hell.
Who else was
It goes
I-
on and
Yeah,
on.
there's a
What
bunch,
would be
but I
your
did-
punk rock name if you were in a band?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say Jerry Flem, but that does not sound good. That does not sound good at all. Let me think about it. Give me another song.
All right, well, after the
Joey
song,
Ramone.
hope-
Couldn't be that one.
No, it can't do that. That's taken. Yeah, Joey Ramone. He was like, so Iggy Pop was Richard Osterberg or something. I mean, everybody's born with their mother's the name their parents.
Yeah,
gave
but a name like that's going to drive you to some punk
But this
rock
man
music.
was an animal.
Yeah.
Watch, research live Stooges early from late '60s, early '70s, late '60s, early '70s.
Yeah.
Research those shows because they were out of control. I mean, if they didn't exist, who knows where we'd be?
I mean, this is CBGB, right? Like, no, well, they came out of the Motor City. They came out of Detroit,
Yep.
and then, but I think that they played all.
Same
I mean,
with
they
Motor
played all
City
of those.
5. I mean, and all those guys.
All right, let's get to it.
All
Man. I
right,
want to hear
so
it.
this is Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy.
I'm a street-walking cheetah with a hat full of napalm. I'm the runaway son of the nuclear aid bomb. I am the world's forgotten boy, the one who searches and destroys. Honey, gotta help me, please. Somebody gotta save my soul. Baby, detonate for me. Look out, honey, 'cause I'm using technology. Ain't got time to make no apology. So radiation in the dead of night, love in the middle of a firefight. Honey, gotta strike me blind. Somebody gotta save my soul. Baby, penetrate my mind. And I'm the world's forgotten boy, the one who's searching to destroy. And honey, I'm the world's forgotten boy, the one who's searching only to destroy. Hey! 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 Look out, honey, 'cause I'm using technology. Ain't got time to make no apology. So radiation in the dead of night, love in the middle of a firefight. Honey, gotta strike me blind. Somebody gotta save my soul. Baby, penetrate my mind.
Little bit awesome right there.
What?
Little bit awesome.
Dude. Oh my God.
It's just driving guitar. You know what it is also too? It's the bass. The
So-
bass is like it's got that heavy drive to it as well.
Dude.
I love it.
It's like it's mixed poorly. It's recorded poorly.
Yeah.
I don't care. You talk about energy. Can you imagine seeing these guys live? And they're
Yeah.
legendary live because
Yeah.
he's almost killing himself. Iggy jumping around on stage, falling over, doing these weird dances,
Putting it out there.
cutting himself. I'm not saying
Yeah.
we should advocate for that,
No.
but I mean,
Just keeps going. He's just full of
was
energy.
I not rocking?
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
That's what emotion is pulled out of me when I hear that.
Yeah.
It's just yanked out of me. It's like, no, you're not going to feel this way. You're going to feel this way.
He's gonna do it this
Okay.
right now.
Oh my God, what a song! And
You know what? That I think the bass gets to your. It like literally does get to your body, like it inside of you, and it's like okay, I can. And like my insides are thumping from this. So
wow.
I want to pull out one more, and it's gonna be
You got one more or two more?
Well, I'm gonna go at least one more. One right. So because I want to do a DC band, and
People, if you like that band,
oh yeah,
if you like
the
that
Stooges.
song, please give me some love. Give me some feedback. Send it to
Soundsopinionated
soundsopinionated@gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
Please, because
Yeah.
this is a podcast and we only thrive on validation. We need validation. We need people to say you're doing a great job,
Or that was a good tune.
or
I like
you stink. This is how you can improve.
You know what? I just want to hear is that hey, you opened my eyes. That was a great jam. Thank you for playing it.
Or say something.
When I say jam, you know, I'm an insider. I'm talking about a musical song, a track from an album. So I'm gonna
I'm
before
still-
we're gonna come back from a little break, but I'm gonna
Yes.
play you a DC band called Fugazi, which is legendary. The Fugazi
Yes.
band is the
Are you
most-
a Fugazi man or a Minor Threat man?
I'm a Fugazi man. I like Fugazi, and
Listen,
I,
that's
so,
the difference between you and me.
So I had through the wonders of social networking, I caught up with a buddy of mine, it was one of my best friends from high school, and he moved to a different part of the country, didn't get to see each other as much, and he came back a couple years ago, and he's like, "Do you remember going to that Fugazi show?" And I was like, "No, I saw Fugazi. Like I don't remember
No.
seeing Fugazi, and I don't know if I don't think he's confusing me with someone else because I don't remember ever going to the show, and I've seen a lot of shows.
You know,
back at the time,
You know
but-
what I appreciate about you, Jerome?
Yes, I do know.
Do you want to?
But I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me anyway. I like hearing it.
When I first, I think I was at your house for the first time when you first invited me into your life, into your home. I said, "What's this, Jerome, on the wall?" And it was a framed poster of all of the ticket stubs.
Oh,
of
yeah.
concerts you've been to.
No.
I said,
I have multiple
I know,
frames.
but the one that you had on the wall, I was
Yep.
like, "Oh my God, you went to this! Oh my God, I was there!" Or, "Oh my God, you saw these guys then." So I was instantly a big fan of Jerome.
You gotta save
for-
ticket stubs, and then you gotta annoy
I
your wife
tried
by
to,
framing them
but
and put
then
them on your wall.
fade. They
Yeah.
fade, and then they're just worthless pieces of paper.
So-
So, you know what? I should do that. You know what? I should create some kind of document that says, because I want to remember all the shows that I've been to, and I can't sometimes.
I know, because you and I have talked about this on another show where you and I went to the Rock and Roll Hotel in DC,
right.
and I don't
Can you
remember.
remember the band?
I can't remember the band name, and neither could you. But that's all right.
I think I will try to remember. That was.
I would consider
we've
them
seen
hardcore.
we've seen a couple of shows together. We
Yeah,
saw
Black
Black
Crowes.
Crowes.
Yeah,
That was a great show.
it was fantastic.
And then we saw that one show,
The other show, and then another show. So we've seen several shows
and,
together. but
and
those
that
two.
show after that.
Yeah, maybe there. All right,
All right.
let me get to Fugazi
This
teed up.
who's this?
I got a lot of choices, but it's coming off their album,
Is it
13
Wa-
songs,
is it
which
Waiting
is
Room?
phenomenal. I do like Waiting Room a lot, but I don't know if that's going to be it. Let me pick it.
I'm putting
give
you
me-
in a box. I
You're
just
not putting me in a box. But let me.
Can I put you in a box?
you want to
Yeah.
hear Waiting Room? No,
Or
I
I'm
want
in a
you. You
box.
said that you're not as familiar, so I want to play something that's going to be a little bit
I know.
eye-opening for you.
I
I think it's going to be Burning.
When we
but
come back from the break, I will confess my shameful lack of understanding.
there's no shame
of,
in your game,
of,
Reid.
Fugazi. Is
This
there?
brought to you by the 930 Club, the original, which is now a Gap. So, brought to you by the 930 and the Gap in DC.
Of course.
Reid,
And we're back, Jerome. I've never heard this song by Fugazi.
we are going to play
Give me
a lovely
the-
jam, or also known as a song by Fugazi, Off of their 13 tracks, the song called "Give Me the Cure."
Is it 13 songs or 13 tracks?
It's 13 songs. Is the name of their album. But and it's a all maroon album. Just says Fugazi in black letters and 13 songs.
Fugazi. It's all Fugazi.
I love it.
What does Fugazi stand for?
Fun.
Messed up.
No, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it stands for anything but fun.
You know, this is a lot of fun, Jerome. I'm
Yeah.
having a good time talking about punk.
Punk.
And I'm
So,
telling you, it's
this
one
guy,
of those things-
this would be I would qualify this in my day. I was hardcore more than punk, but it falls in the same genre.
Yeah,
so.
when did punk become hardcore?
I mean,
You know,
in the I would
hardcore is mainly
early
an American.
80s. Maybe not. Maybe mid to late 80s is when hardcore scene really kind of took off.
But it's primarily a American phenomenon. You couldn't say
the bands I'm thinking of are all.
you can't say hardcore was
yeah.
prominent in
England. No, and it's funny you say it because we're not talking Europe. We're talking England. Like that's the only other place that you think music
There's
comes
England
from.
and the United States.
Yeah.
This is
Apparently that's what music's all about. So
it's the only
Australia,
Are there any Australian punk bands?
Silverchair. No, they're not. There's
What?
more. Silverchair is not a punk band.
Silverchair. How
They're
about Nickelback?
grunge. they're from Australia. They might
What's
be.
the name of this song?
Give Me the Cure.
Give me the cure. How do I spell gimme?
Give me. Give me.
It's not G-I-M-M-E.
No, it's G-I-V.
Give me.
G-I-V-E.
Okay, came right up.
Oh, surprise.
Anyway, I'm having a blast.
Wonderful, Reid. Edit all of this.
Can we do another? I know we say this every single time, but can we do another show? Or at least can we?
Let's get through this one.
All
I
right.
want you to hear this
He's
song.
he's like,
I don't,
shut
I'm
up.
like, I need to hear this.
All right, this is Fugazi. Give me the cure.
Don't call it Fugazi. You make it sound like it's something.
Fugazi.
Fugazi. It's
It's
Fugazi. They're a DC band. It's not out of Italy, Little Italy in New York. It's Fugazi.
Ian McKeon.
Give me the cure.
Give me the cure.
I never thought too hard on dying before. I never sucked on the dying. I never licked the side of dying before. And now I'm feeling the dying. You got your hands over your ears. You got your mouth running on. You got your eyes looking for something that can never be found, like a reason. Good God, I don't need a reason. I never thought too hard on dying before. I never thought on the dying. I never held the hand of dying before. And now I'm feeling the dying. And you got to, and you got to, and you got to. Give me the shot. Give me the pill.
Reid.
Whoa.
Reid.
Oh,
me do
man. Jerome, I'm ashamed.
I'd
You
open
made
up
me
another one.
ashamed.
No,
You
shouldn't be ashamed.
You're shaming me.
that's what.
Wow.
That's hardcore though,
God,
right?
that's a great song.
So good.
So
That's one of my favorites for sure.
good for you.
I can't even say favorites by that. I mean, there's once you start listening to some of these songs, you're like, wow, that
know.
does it.
Man,
You a punk rock fan? Are
That's a
you a
good
Fugazi fan now?
I'm Fugazi.
Fugazi.
No, that's so good.
Yeah.
So,
So how do you not jump into a mosh pit during that?
So right. There's a website that I love, and he doesn't publish anymore, but it's Mark Prendle's record review. I don't know if I'm going to send you the link because you would love it.
I love it already.
He in the 90s, early 2000s, he had his own website, and he would review bands, and all of them you would be interested in. And
Okay.
So I'd love to read his reviews because they're funny and whatever.
Yeah.
Mark Prendle, he's great. It's markprendle.com or whatever.
New
Anyway,
sponsor. I love
He
it.
says Fugazi is one of the greatest bands he never listens to. And he lumps them in with like Sonic Youth and a bunch of other bands that are phenomenal
Yeah.
in so many ways, but for some reason he doesn't listen to them, like in heavy rotation.
It's
like,
funny.
like you know how you listen to song after song.
Sure.
I mean, we've all heard "Beast of Burden" by Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, yeah, sure.
1,000 times. They keep playing it on the radio. It's a
Yeah.
great song.
You play
Nothing's wrong with that song, but this song right here you just played should be in heavy rotation. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic song.
It's great.
Why isn't it?
So they're the underground favorites. You know what I mean? Like there's a cult classic.
Yeah.
The Fugazi is a cult classic of the punk world.
For some reason, I never got into them super hard. Maybe it's because at that point I was branching out from Minor Threat, because I'm a Minor Threat guy.
I don't know why you can't be. Well, it's not like
I'm a Minor Threat guy, and so when Fugazi came along,
right.
it
Yeah.
was more of a thinking man's punk. That's what it really is, because you're smarter than I am, so it's fine.
Wait, but you
Minor
think
Threat.
Fugazi's a thinking man's punk?
Yeah, sort of.
Oh man,
Kinda.
I didn't see it that way.
Because
but-
I mean, Minor Threat is like in your face. You can't. You have to be dumb enough.
well, I mean,
or you-
Fugazi got you to the. I think they. I mean, they.
It's-
This is.
it's
I
a-
love a song that kind of builds up like that.
But it's more mature.
all right.
Minor Threat is like 18-year-old punk in your face. I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Well, see, that's what that's what I wanted to play with the Clash song. I wanted something
yeah.
coming out of the gout coming out of
Again,
the gate. That is
Jerome,
a gun.
you're a freaking genius. I mean,
I mean, I don't
Sid-
hear it
Sid,
enough.
let him keep his stuff.
Let me keep my old T-shirts that I got
Just
shot
his
out.
T-shirt. How much room?
A shirt gets shot out of a cannon, Reed. You don't hold on to
You-
that for the rest of your life.
You hold
I
it
mean,
on,
that's,
onto.
yeah.
You never wear
It's a
it,
free shirt.
but you hold onto it. You have a special place in your home.
Sure, it
You
says
dedicate
PNC Bank.
to
It says PNC Bank on the back. I don't even like PNC Bank. They're not a sponsor.
You keep
But-
it forever.
But yeah, you keep that shirt. It says Georgetown on the front of it. All right, so
Georgetown's a
let's
great
get to your last hit because
Oh,
not
man,
even the
Jerome,
last one because we're not going to do. We might change this to Sounds Opinionated to Punk Rock Opinionated.
Punk's opinionated.
Punks. What anyway? We're gonna play more because I love this genre.
I
I want to play 10 more, but I'm not going to tonight.
Because we're not rich enough. Because people aren't.
We're
buying
paying
enough
for
t-shirts.
every this. Fugazi's gonna be really happy with
You
the
know,
donation
Ian
we just
McKay,
made.
Mr. DIY minister in his basement in D.C. Does he still live in D.C.?
I hope he does, Reed. I really do.
I never see him walking around. I saw him walking around one time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said, "Hey, Ian." He said,
Leave me alone.
"Leave me alone.
Leave me alone, you punk.
I
You punk.
got a band to run here.
You
We're gonna
punk.
take a break. This band.
What are you gonna just give me a teaser? What's the band? You going back?
It's David Bowie.
Oh, that's right, you did say.
And the Spiders from Mars.
Oh, I love it. Thanks,
No,
Reed.
not David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars. It's,
David Bowie.
Ziggy Stardust and the
Yeah,
Spiders from Mars.
But it's David Bowie.
But it's a fantastic song. And it's only 2.5 minutes long.
That's what we're all
So
about.
that's all you have to wait. But this break is brought to you by
Give me another. We did CBGB. We did the 930 Club.
Sky Vodka.
No. I want to hear like the Bayou Room. I want to do all
Bayou?
all
By the-
all old
Okay,
places.
DC? DC9.
What about DC9? All right.
DC9 is brought to you. They actually exist right now. DC9. You
What-
can go see a show in DC9.
What was the name of the place? Was it the Bayou that was in Georgetown?
Yeah,
that was under
Bayou.
the yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I was thinking
There's-
Hammerjacks. That was up in Baltimore.
Hammerjacks, oh,
that was
man.
also under the.
Have you been
overpass.
at Auto Bar? That's a great place to go.
No,
see
I
a
haven't
show.
gone there. No.
Man, we got to.
All right, we'll put it on the list. You and I will go see yet another show.
The
Sounds Opinionated
soundstage.
on the road.
Have you been? We should,
I like it.
because that's. What
I
they
tried
do.
to get you to go see my buddy's band, Indian Summer, who is another punk. Well, I don't know if they consider
Are you
themselves
buy
punk.
me a ticket? Because
Yeah, I would have, but it was pre.
to the class.
It was when people were actually going to see music. It was a buddy of mine. He actually is a journalist in Chicago. He went and saw Fugazi and filmed it in at JMU.
Wow.
He's a crazy guy. He was a big TSOL fan too. So because he went to Paul VI High School with me. John Dugan, call out, John.
John Dugan, shout out. All right, we're gonna take a break. This is brought to you by DC9. Jerome, we're back.
Of course we are.
What were we just talking about that we said we should say on the air instead of so no one else can?
It
hear?
wasn't about me keeping my old T-shirts. I think it was about
No.
punk rock. I was saying,
we were saying it wasn't a sound. It wasn't necessarily a look. It's a whole thing.
we were definitely not saying this. But
So right, I'm trying.
it's an attitude.
It's an attitude. It's
an energy.
It's an energy.
It doesn't have to be.
It's a message.
So the songs.
I think it's a message more than anything.
The songs I originally thought of punk. I think of fast, loud,
You're right.
driving,
Exactly.
reverberating guitar with distortion in it, and I think and Fugazi kind of got there with in the middle of that song. It's funny because Fugazi kind of got to that driving loud, like, oh my God, this I've got to explode moment. Just as about the same time, if you listen to Safe European Home, the time that the Clash decided to go reggae, like the Clash is
But
like, let's
again,
bring it down.
There are
It's-
very few rules. That's what I
we
like.
know that there are two rules. There are two rules. Reed.
No.
All right, there are no. rules.
I'm rebelling against
You
the
gotta-
two
all right.
rules.
That's the whole part of the rules. All right, so tell me about the last song you're going to play.
All right.
David Bowie.
So yeah,
He's a punk rock artist.
He has been cited. Glam rocker. Whatever. He was popular in the 80s and 70s. But and Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars was a great album. But there is a riff. When I first heard it,
Yeah.
So I had listened to Iggy and the Stooges, and I had listened to Motor City 5, and I had listened to the Sex Pistols, and I had listened to the Ramones, and I had listened to all these bands at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking it was in the mid-90s, and I said, and they always kept saying something like, I remember a couple of them said, David Bowie was instrumental in my progression, or he was influential to me, And I don't, Sid Vicious was dead, but I remember Johnny Rotten saying that. But I remember there was actually some interview with Sid Vicious, and he actually said, I know he wasn't the driving force behind the Sex Pistols sound, but Sid Vicious said, man, I was really into David Bowie when I was growing up. And I was like, wow, that was striking to me.
You know what, Reed? It doesn't. I don't want to make this. I want to say, like, you play music that you feel is punk, and there's some, like, the Talking Heads have a song, and some people feel it's punk. I don't think the Talking Heads are a punk band, but you know
they
what?
Don't sound punk. But
Lenny Kravitz plays a reggae song. It doesn't make him a reggae
No.
artist. It makes him an artist. So, like,
Right.
I appreciate
Doesn't
all
matter.
the music. Everyone can do what they want. I just think that there's, like, I want to put, if I do a reggae show, I probably will play some Lenny Kravitz because it is good. And there are a lot of bands that do that. But, like, here in the punk side, I just want to, I love it. So let me hear what you want to do with David. I'm going to call him David because I think he and I are really close now. Now that he's gone and he can't dispute it.
I don't know Jerome.
What do you mean, Jerome?
Who's Jerome Burr?
Who's Jerome? Yeah?
But I also I reject labels. I mean, to a point.
It's just like
I
your
mean,
rules. Rules and labels.
But people, they love to put people in groups, and
It's not so much that they want to put people in groups. They just want to say, like, do you have something like this? And when you say that, you're like, well, it's punk. So
or
call it what you want.
whatever. I mean, like I did earlier in the first part of the show. I said there's this and there's this and there's this and there's
you
a
said
progression.
all those thises. Yeah.
For progression from hardcore to proto punk or whatever. And
Yeah,
I mean,
we're all good.
It's nice to be able to classify artists.
It's nice
but
to have some
it's impossible.
genre.
If they're true
But
artists,
it's not. Yeah,
it's impossible to classify
you can't
artists
put them in a.
because
You can't put them in a
can't.
corner. You can't
You
put them in a
shouldn't.
bucket. They're all over
and
the
you
place.
really shouldn't.
Yeah, you should.
And I
Good.
know because I'm an artist. Because
Yeah.
I have this podcast, and this podcast is my art.
This is art.
I'm
I'm living art right now. Wait, are you? It sounds like you're saying art, but are you? I think you mean. Is it with an F? Is that? I don't know.
Jerome, shut up.
All right, let's get to the song.
Jerome, I love this song. When I first heard it, I said that is a punk rock riff, and this was made 3 years before
Iggy.
punk rock exploded.
Stooges?
No, the Stooges were actually out. And
Okay.
actually, David Bowie and Brian Eno and Iggy Pop were like good friends. And David Bowie produced a lot of the, well, I take that back. I don't even know the facts. But I think he was.
I want to believe it.
He wanted to promote Iggy Pop and the Stooges because he was like, well, wow, this is good music. And I value David Bowie. A lot of people think he's overrated. But no, David Bowie's a man.
No, he's a man.
He is the man. Was the man, unfortunately.
Mm.
But when I first heard this song, I said to myself, now that's a punk rock riff. And it was 3 years solid before you heard this punk rock riff. I think the Ramones really copied it, but also the Sex Pistols. But here you go. This is David Bowie. Hang on to yourself. Enjoy.
She's a tongue-twisting song. Come to the show tonight. Bring to the light machine. She wants my hand and I'm a money. She's a bucket like Elektra. Waiting on an electric dream. But come on. We really got a good thing going. But come on. If you think we're gonna make it, better hang on to yourself. Oh, we can't dance, we don't talk much, we just ball and play. But we move like badgers on Vaseline. Well, the beat comes up later on a stolen guitar. You're the blessed with the spiders from Mars. Oh, come on. We really got a good thing going. Oh, come on. If you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. Come on. Oh. Lay it on. Come on. We really got a good thing going. Come on. If you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. Come on. You really got a good thing going. Come on. If you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself.
So,
100% punk rock riff. 100%.
Mick Ronson, who is the guitarist in the Spiders from Mars.
Yep.
I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Sure.
He was in David Bowie's band at that time, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to read it because it's retarded. But
Well, it's not. You're not gonna read it because it's inappropriate. Apparently,
it's appropriate.
I'm gonna call you out on
You're right, because I can't say the R word
kids.
anymore. I can't say the
No one
R
can
word.
say-
Why can't
it's
you
not
say the R
right.
word anymore?
That's not the right word. There's
Learning,
a better
it
way
was
to
learning
do it.
impaired.
It's,
Is that right? Mick
Reed,
Ronson.
that's 100% a rock and roll
That's
punk rock.
He's
riff.
not that. When I first heard that, I freaked out. I said, "Oh my!"
Yeah, 100%.
That's where it came. That's a punk rock riff, and it was solid 3 years. And now, David, I'm not saying that
I didn't.
the
it doesn't mean that
Stooges
that's what they
hadn't
took
done
it.
it
Or,
2 or 3 years before that, or
who knows?
or
But that's. I mean, it is what it is. That stuff. That's
it wasn't
rock
garage
and roll, punk rock.
Like David Bowie was established at this point.
Yeah, of
He was a
course.
big star, a
Yeah.
huge star. And when this album came out, he was already big. So he heard something in Iggy's sound, in Motor City 5, and
An artist expands,
and
they
right,
do different things, and they
I,
try it
that
out.
is a punk rock
Love it.
riff.
I like it. Yeah, And you're right, man. Like we're listening to punk rock songs. I don't care if it's being played by Bob Marley or the Sex Pistols. I mean, it is awesome.
There are no definitions that really work.
That's
to be
cool.
honest.
Yeah,
it's a frame
fun.
of mind.
It's so fun.
And I mean, it really was helpful for me when I was a kid.
We're gonna do another one of these for sure, Reed. We're definitely doing another punk rock song.
Absolutely.
Punk rock episode.
I mean, I
episode and genre. I do feel like a doctor when I say those
I
things.
still. I know,
Am I a doctor?
Genre sounds so
I'm not a doctor.
douchey, but I mean, it's like I listen to old school punk still on whatever I can get my hands on.
Yeah,
you know, I just rediscovered the Misfits.
You're gonna be yeah.
I mean,
who didn't have a Misfit shirt in high school?
No, they were so
they
good.
were so popular.
And I'm telling
Black
you,
Flag. We didn't even talk. I mean,
no, we didn't talk about any.
You know,
of those
here,
guys.
hold on. Before,
but that's more of a hardcore thing.
I mean, it is. I would say the same thing.
The Misfits for me embody a lot of what American hardcore is.
We didn't talk about. Well, you talked about Bad Brains. Bad Brains.
We could do a whole show on Bad Brains.
Bad Brains calling that the guy sang the song from a prison phone.
Yeah,
called it in.
Right. I met HR just like 4 or 5 years ago. I saw him at the club at a Melvin show. Believe it or not.
Really? Of course, at a Melvin show.
I mean, he is out of this world.
Yeah.
He's got schizophrenia, I think, but he's the best. He's the best.
I mean, all the new stuff: Green Day, Blink 182. We didn't talk about the Dead Kennedys, Rancid. I mean, there's a lot of great music.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, someone put punk rock, Jimmy Eat World. I'm like,
No,
I don't know
so
about
much.
that. But whatever.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's not overreach.
No.
Which we want to do. We do that often. We're like, oh, we should do another show.
Let's
on this.
do 30 songs right now. No, I just want to say,
let's do a hardcore show. Let's do a modern day punk show.
We're gonna play some Token Entry in that hardcore show.
Let's do a
Pat McArdle's
gonna
love that.
Another country show.
Yeah, we're gonna read. We're gonna do a lot of more shows, but this one will definitely come back here. So,
Yeah.
I want to thank all the listeners for bearing with us
for all your support
and your support. You guys,
you're the best.
You do.
You
are
keep
the
us
best.
going.
You,
I'm kidding because we don't hear from any of you.
That's not true. I hear from all the time. Reed.
We've had
2 of them.
1,500 downloads all over the world.
Reed,
Come on.
You know what I think you
please.
did well this time?
What?
I think you kept the songs like let the listener pick the volume. You just put it out on consistency and they jam it up when they want to.
No. That's up for you, listener. You're in control of your
Reed,
own listening destiny.
You are an engineer.
I'm half drunk. Am I 3/4 drunk? I
Yeah,
can't
you're
tell.
more than half.
But you're the best, Jerome.
No,
you're the best. Rock
this
out.
is why I did it. This is why
punk.
we do it.
You
I love
punk.
it, man. Thank you.
What are we gonna do next week? Should we do a teaser?
Yeah, we're gonna play some new music. I'm gonna turn you on to something that you've never heard before. You know what? You want to do this?
You know what? You chose this topic.
Yeah, I did choose this topic. You keep asking me to choose it. So what do you want to do?
Because you're the topic chooser.
Well,
you have chosen the most popular downloads.
You want to do? You keep saying workouts too. I'm not working out
Workouts
anymore.
too?
You want to do more
Neither
workouts?
am I.
Yeah. Let's do more workouts.
How about workouts for old people? Or
Let's
people
skip
that are
workouts
hurt?
2 and go right to workouts 3. How about we do? You want to listen? How about we do this? We pick one. I'll pick a band and I'll I'll play some songs for you that you've never heard
you
before.
know what?
And then you like that, and see if you
Hold on.
tell me
Say
your
that
thoughts
again.
on it.
Say that more.
I can pick a band that you're not familiar with.
Yes.
And then I'll play some songs from them, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
And
I
then
like
you could
that.
do the same thing. You can introduce me to a band as well.
Okay.
Sounds
No,
opinionated.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Teased.
How do I know what you haven't heard though?
Because I'm gonna play you a band of a song. I might just play 2 songs. A band called the Train Jumpers out of Wheeling, West Virginia.
No.
You're not gonna know anything about it. Oh yeah.
Really?
You're gonna love this one song.
I'm
They
gonna
call
cut this
it
part
Under
out.
Starfield. It's check it out. Under Starfield. It's a fantastic
You just
song.
told me I'm not supposed to know
You
about
don't,
this band.
have you heard of it? Have you heard of
You
the
just
Train?
told
No.
me I'm not supposed to know about it.
You don't know
Now
about
I
it.
know.
But you're not gonna look it up. I'm gonna play
All
it for
right.
you. You're gonna be stuck on Fugazi up until now.
Jerome.
Listeners, don't play ahead. Don't go ahead and look it up before me.
All right,
I'm gonna play it
the
for you.
first person that emails me with another show topic,
Oh, that's true.
100%
Call it in.
gets that show topic.
Call it in. Call in your show topic. Soundsopinionated
Fridge,
at
I'm talking to you.
gmail.com. Little fridge.
All right. Good night. See ya.
Love you, Reed. Good night, kids. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Punk.
What's your nickname in high school?